Good morning, church family. I'm really excited to get an opportunity to share with you the latest update from the Name Change Assessment Team. As many of you may recall, this church commissioned this committee to begin evaluating keeping the name of North Lanier Baptist Church, and if not to keep it, what to do about that, meaning what name to pick. Well, as you may know, there's no instruction manual for this. There's no checklist. There's no book that talks about how to name a church. So we approached it the only way we knew how, which was through prayer and through Scripture. And I can tell you the first many weeks of our meetings were just that, spending time in prayer, sharing what God was talking to us about, looking at different examples in Scripture when names were changed. We did this for quite a while. Eventually, as you may recall from my first update, we came up with a matrix through which we could run potential names through to evaluate how they fit, if they would work. And the first name we ran through this was North Lanier Baptist Church. And it was at that point that we knew this church body was no longer going to be known as North Lanier. And that's when the real work began, to be honest. We still stuck with prayer. We still stuck with Scripture because, again, there's still no manual for this. And we ran fast. We ran slow. Some nights we'd go through 40 ideas. We went through Scripture. We went through concepts. We began to burn ourselves out, if I'm honest. And it was at that point that Pastor Eric came in and said, listen, let's talk about God's vision for this church. And that's all we did for the entire meeting, was listen to Pastor Eric talk about the vision that God has shown him for this church, for this community. And it was also at that moment that we began to get excited and see what our real task was. You see, we were not tasked with naming a building or a grounds. We were tasked with naming a vision, and we were excited about that. Now, many of you may or may not know, North Lanier Baptist Church was founded many years ago by a strong group of believers that were passionate about missions and passionate about outreach. Their vision was to open the church in North Forsyth County, closer to Lake Lanier, and that's where the name North Lanier Baptist Church came from. Throughout their ministry, God blessed them with an opportunity to purchase land here, and they did so and continue their ministry for the next 2 or 3 decades. It was a beautiful legacy. It was a wonderful thing. But that vision is completed. And just as the Israelites crossing the Jordan River did not lose their identity, neither will we. We go on to the next step of the journey, to the next vision that God has for us all. So what are the next steps here? Well, first of all, I should have told you this up front. I'm not telling you the name of the church today. I can't. That's not what we're excited about here. What I want, what the committee wants, what your leadership wants, what this church needs is to get excited about what God is going to do about His vision for this people and this community. To further that, Pastor Eric is currently working on a sermon series that he will share towards the end of the summer that will culminate in the name reveal. But let's not lose focus here, church family. This is not the name reveal of this campus. This is the name of the vision. I look forward to working with all of you and seeing how God reveals this vision for this body.